Ready? Action!
And we have a
Turns out it's not so easy.
no biscuits for you.
Wee bit of a mess right now. Learning.
Standing in the middle of a bonfire. You don't know how you got there, but you hold tight.
Welcome back, everyone, and if you're new here, nice to meet ya. I'm Lindsay, and together with my husband Jim, we are renovating a 19th century Queen Anne Victorian in Syracuse, New York. In this episode, it's all about the pocket doors. Oh, our house is going to have 3 doorways that have pocket doors, and I am so excited. I love them. Turns out it takes a lot of work to rejuvenate them. So yeah, that's what this episode's about. Things have slowed down a little bit with the trades and getting people lined up for things, but we're still working on it. I mean, there's always a million projects. So let's just share this one. Thanks for joining us. Randy and I were talking about this door we have to repair. And it has the chunk of it out in the corner. It's missing. And we think this is pine. It's our best guess. And so we were thinking about what kind of wood we needed to get. And we found an old growth 2x4. Actually, it's the 2x4 width. At some point in the Grand Lady's history, there was a fire upstairs, I think from the chimney, and this is wood from one of the walls we took down from the attic upstairs. It's actually a really old 2x4. It does actually measure 2x4. So it turns out it's just the right size for patching that pocket door with the missing corner.
I think this is from the fire.
Yeah, all that. What's that stuff called? Shosugiban? Or you burn it to...
Yeah.
We could somehow mix Victorian with shosugiban, I would do it, but I don't think we can. Looking good.
Got a lot of little holes. It's really not going to bother us though, is it?
I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna matter. We have to router one side for to receive the, right?
Yeah.
Or it's going to be against the door.
That's going to be the groove.
Yeah, the groove.
So we got to take it out anyway.
Yeah.
Another obstacle overcame.
So cool. It's so cool to be using this old wood. Right? I'll just sand it and get it ready for it. Wow, you've been busy this morning.
You betcha.
That looks great.
It's just a hair narrow.
Yeah. Oh, you'll never gonna notice that.
So,
We can smooth
option
it out.
2,
Two?
because I can get a piece out of that oak that's the exact width. But I think that if we just sand this a little bit
Yeah, that's fine.
and kind of center it.
Looks good. Ooh, that door is so dirty. Thanks, Randy.
I thought you would like it.
I totally like that. How'd you do that this morning?
I planed the door, then I marked it, and I cut it on the table saw.
Nice. And then we'll just router this out.
Well, I'm going to put a groove in it with the table saw, so we have the parameters
Okay.
for the router bit to fall into, because I don't have a jig or anything to do it. So I'll
Okay.
just make a couple of shallow lines, and then I'll bring in a router bit that's got a ball on the bottom, and we can just
Okay.
fall in between it.
Ooh la la.
It looks nice, huh?
It looks really nice.
I almost think I knew what I was doing. I wonder if I just want to use a trim screw and pre-drill it, and I can put screws right down through here versus the biscuits, because it's such a narrow area. By the time I cut a biscuit slot, there isn't going to be much left.
Right. Yeah.
It's going to be glued. It's basically to keep it in place.
So no biscuits today.
No biscuits for you. Yeah, I drill like a 1/8-inch hole and pre-drill it all. Right. And then the screws,
They'll be out here.
will go just right down through here.
So then when you router it, it'll be no
And
screws.
then when we router it, we won't have a problem.
Yeah. Pre-drilling can prevent damage to your wood or other material from splitting or shredding, especially if the fastener is to be placed near an edge, like on our door here. The old glue and screw.
Tried and true. This is gonna come out nice, Lens.
And he didn't have a router jig, so he made one with wood and clamps here. It's pretty clever. You can see how it's holding the router blade in the right position between these two lines that he drew.
How about that?
Looks
So
great.
this is the first pass. I've got to raise it up and move it over to get it.
To do the full.
Yeah, because it's so wide. Come check it out, Lynn. See what you think. Something there. We might want to put some glue on this transition.
Okay. Oh yeah, I can like.
Feather it out.
Yeah.
Now I gotta cut this straight. Well played.
The door looks so good, and we actually found out that the rails and stiles are made of pine and the panels are made of oak. So it was pretty lucky that we picked pine for the patch. Gotta repair this scratch that was, and that team was cutting out the lath and plaster. This is a pocket door that was behind it and it got cut. So we're gonna fill that in and see if we can stain it. Looking at the rest of the door, it's got some scuffs and some other marks. Take a chunk out of it. Maybe we'll see what we can do with that. And then, when we're all done with that, we'll stain it. We'll work on this piece that we spliced on, try to match it to the door. First, I'm going to give it another good scrub so I can match the color accurately. I'm not mad at how worn this door looks and how it's a little chipped and uneven. I kind of think that's part of the charm, so we'll see how it ends up. If it ends up to be too charming, we'll have to decide if we're going to refinish some doors. But for now, I'm going to try and keep it what it is because I love it. Quite a while ago, I showed you guys testing out a few different ways to handle all of the trim in the house that really needed refinishing, but I didn't really think I had the time to do it. So I came up with some options for how to sort of smooth out the alligatoring, or at least make the trim look clean and presentable. Not sure if you can see it. This is the alligatoring. It's this bubbling up of stuff. I'm experimenting a little bit. I spread some denatured alcohol over the shellac areas with the toothbrush, just brushed and brushed and brushed until I didn't see the alligator anymore. And now I'm just gonna let it dry and see if it re-hardens into a smoother surface without alligator. I have no idea if this is going to work, but we're here. Let's give it a try.
15 minutes later.
Okay, it's been about 15 minutes. Let's see how this piece of experimental alcohol is faring. Ooh, it's a little tacky. but it looks like it's drying not really smoothly, but it definitely doesn't look like alligatoring anymore.
Interesting.
I see electrician singing upstairs. You sing while you work. It's awesome. You know, as I work on this, I'm at that point where I had thought I had decided that I was just going to sort of spruce up the trim and not really refinish it, not strip it, because I really like the depth of color it has from all the years. But I don't know, I'm not having a very easy time matching the places that I did actually need to sand or clean up or patch to that old patina. It's just really hard to recreate, and I've done a lot of different staining. I've sanded off a couple times. It looks better in person than on camera, but you can see the spot I'm talking about. I'm trying to get the tone, that sort of golden red patina of time. Something that's been shellacked, 100 years ago. Turns out it's not so easy. So maybe I overestimated my abilities to match colors. I've painted and I've actually stained concrete. That was my thing for a while as an artist. I'm just really not up to speed on the wood. I mean, I know a little bit about stains, but where to go from here? As I keep trying to figure out things that will help me not have to refinish the whole door. Well, that didn't turn out as expected. I'm beginning to realize this is the best time to refinish the door. I mean, it's outside of the pocket and I have a spot to refinish it. And really, the door is just not looking that good with these shortcuts. I mean, if you stand back far enough and squint your eyes, it looks pretty good. Wee bit of a mess right now of my own doing. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to fix this. All part of the learning, right? Yeah, I think we'll be fine. It's just staining wood. It's not a big deal. So slowly, I'm realizing I should probably just refinish them now. Good. I don't want to refinish this whole door. I have decided that I'm not going to be happy with the amount of alligatoring that I've seen on the other two doors that I have to do. And really, I probably will be disappointed if I don't do it now while it's handy instead of after we hang them up. So I'm going to go ahead and use some denatured alcohol and just do a thorough wipe down and see if I can get rid of the alligatoring, and then we'll basically kind of start over. But we'll see what color it becomes and how might have to rematch the stain for the repair piece. But I think it's going to be the good decision in the long run. And if they don't match the trim, then I'll just work on the trim, through the years as we have the house. So, decision made! Just making decisions sometimes is the hardest part. I think the work will go fairly quickly, but you never know.
People knew her by her will, to make it whatever she put her mind to. Late night hours up the hill, serving coffee to strangers, talking about revenue. She kept dreaming of a world big enough for everyone, but she knew it must rain before it grows. She kept dreaming of the day butterflies survive.
This process is actually going quite well, and it's a lot easier than I expected. I am removing most of the finish, but I think in the long run it's going to be better. You live and you learn. Learning! Well, here's where we are now. You can see there are some stain spots from where I was trying to match the stain to the original color. So now I have to decide, do I want to try and stain the door to match this and sort of continue on with the red theme of the doors? Or do I want to try and sand this and mellow it out a bit and be a little bit more brown instead of red? The back door turned out a little bit more brown than red, which I really like. And I'm only doing 2 of these. Those are going to go, those 2 go right here. They come together. I suppose whatever I do on the door, I would like it to match the trim, so I'm gonna have to decide for one thing and try to carry it on through everything else. Here's the other door. So that's what it looked like before. And then we also have this pocket door that we're redoing that doesn't have a lot of alligatoring, and it's kind of a more maroony red brown. And that's going to go right here. So they're sort of in the same vicinity, but I don't think they have to be perfect, but you know, consistency would be lovely. So I'm gonna go let this sort of dry out from all the alcohol and take some time and try to decide. Have some lunch. That only took me the morning, so that's so much better than having to sand. So now we have to also decide if we're going to use poly or go back to shellac. I must say, I'm thinking about shellac as only having to take the morning to take it off with just alcohol versus all that sanding I had to do on that darn door. I can see now that might be nicer in the future if someone were to need to refinish it to be able to do that. You know, in 100 years, or maybe we'll have the robots do it. Hard to say what's going to be in 100 years. Is after the first coat of stain. It was a long process to getting here and figuring out what I had to do. This wood is actually oak, the panels and the trim, and this is pine. So I learned a lot of things along the way. I learned that you can remove shellac with alcohol, but it doesn't remove it enough to really be able to stain it again. You just really should just shellac it again. But since I wanted the doors to be a little darker, I actually ended up sanding the pine so I could stain it and not sanding in here, just getting the shellac off. And Jim came by and said he really liked the two-tone. And I was thinking the same thing as I was working with the limits of what I could do with the patches and the spliced in piece. And it all just sort of came together. And I really like it. I really like it. It's kind of different. I mean, maybe it wouldn't have been done that way in Victorian times. I think it looks lovely. I really like it. Now that I finally have a plan of action, I flipped the door over and tried to repeat the process. And then I'll do the same for the other door.
When I look at you like that, you lose it completely. Losing track of space and time. I don't wanna go home looking for a reason to stay here all night. I wonder, do you feel it too? Magic between me and you, the way that you make me feel. You wonder if I feel the same. The blood's rushing through your veins, and then when I say your name, bet I'm everything you see. Bet I'm everything you need. We're high on this feeling, don't wanna come down. Just go on and tell me, get into my eyes. Everything you need. I'm everything you need.
So I've got two different kinds of shellac. One is amber and one is garnet. The garnet, I got the flakes. I ordered the flakes and made my own shellac. And this one I just picked up at Home Depot. And at first, the first coat, they both look the same. But then the second coat, you can really tell the difference in how much darker the garnet one is versus the amber. This is three coats of each. So I figured since I didn't like the huge contrast between the oak and the pine and the way I stained them, that I would put this on the oak parts to darken them up a little bit, and then the rest of the pine, the rest of the door I'll do with this. So we'll see. After the first coat, it looks like this. Contrast is a little bit better. With this I put the amber, and then here I put the garnet. And I'm hoping to bring them closer together because the contrast is a little bit too much.
You usually don't share any secrets. Suddenly you're an open book. When I struggle to find
this dries, let's go start work on the other pocket door.
Bet I'm everything you see. Bet I'm everything you need. We're high on this feeling, don't wanna come down. Just go on and tell me, get into my eyes. I'm everything you need. You need. I'm everything you need. I'm everything you need. You need. I'm everything you need. I'm everything you need. You need. I'm everything you need.
I really wanted to have the door finished and hung up in the slot that it goes in, but I realized that if I did that when I work on the trim, I risk damaging the door. So I'm going to finish both the doors, and I've started working on the trim now, and it's going to take me a few more days. So I thought I'd get this video out so you can see what we're doing. And what do you think of the two-tone door? I'm kind of excited. It was not intended, and I'm a bit surprised. Really that happened because I just sort of let the wood tell me what it was. And we found out that the outer edges were pine and the panels were oak. And then I learned that the trim is also oak. So I think it's all going to coordinate well, but we'll see when it's all hung up. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate you so much. And please remember to hit subscribe, like, and share if you can. All right, thanks guys. See you in the next one.
Bet